So good afternoon, everyone. I'm truly excited about today. Thank you as a foundation, as the leader of this foundation. I'm excited to, kind of come to the collective table and just go over some things that are important that have to do with our foundation, some of the core values that we serve and we live by as we go and do our community service and to others. Um, the name of today's workshop is our BRF's teamwork and empathy training. So I'm going to go through a quick run through. Please feel free to interject at any time. The overarching goal is to foster a culture of empathy and collaboration among our team members. Obviously, what we do is very important to others. The way we serve others is extremely valuable, and empathy plays a big key. Some of us do not know what empathy is. Some of us do know what empathy is. So we'll go through a quick rundown of today is our objectives. These are our overarching goals and our objectives for today's training. Just to understand what is empathy, what is servant leadership, and there is a difference between servant leadership and other leadership. And do we all have as an organization and individuals have a clear understanding of how empathy influences leadership effectiveness? How does empathy influence our leadership? It could be leadership within our homes, leadership within our spouses, leadership within the communities, or leadership within our jobs. But how does empathy play a role? And can we collaborate with each other to demonstrate the principles of servant leadership in action? Like I said, there is a difference between servant leadership and leadership. So we will get to all of these in due time. This agenda is very subject to change. We're going to spend 5 minutes on instruction. We're going to assign teams. I was expecting a group of 9. However, we got 3, so we're not going to break out. So this is the team of 3. Anna, since you're the most tenured BRF member, and you will take lead. I'm going to put you in charge of taking lead and kind of controlling the discussion towards the end. And then we're going to go over a scenario. We're going to create a hypothetical scenario, and it spotlights a challenge that spotlights a challenging situation where empathy and teamwork integrated will be very important. We'll run that down in a second. We'll discuss what empathy is and how we can demonstrate empathy towards others, team members, people in our community, and ourselves, and also how collaboration plays a key part in teamwork and organizational leadership. And then you'll do not a presentation. We'll just present our findings as a team. This is going to be very laid back as we go through, just so we get the core values. Obviously, our core values as an organization is service, helping, giving, leadership, empowerment, and empathy plays a key role in that foundation. So let's talk about this word empathy. Before we begin, does anybody want to talk about what they have previous knowledge of the word empathy? Feel free to shout out anything that you want.
I understand it because being in the medical field, you have to have empathy. It's very important to have empathy and be aware of the patient's or client's feelings and understand what they're going through.
Thank you. So what I'm hearing is go ahead, Stephanie. Yep.
No, I was going to add to that, putting yourself in another person's shoes.
Okay. Awesome. Anything else?
I understand it working in the court system. There's a lot of empathy towards the victim service unit.
Yes.
And that's a unit of its own, that there's a lot of charges that go against certain individuals and a lot of people. You have defendants and you have offenders. You have a lot of different litigants in the court system. So empathy comes a long way in regards to how do you feel about the victim.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is, first of all of you are correct. So what I'm hearing is just that the ability to kind of step into somebody else's shoes, to feel, kind of understand what they're feeling. A lot of people often get empathy and sympathy mixed up. Sympathy is kind of like you have compassion for the person, but you really don't know what they're going through. So for example, say if somebody lost a pet and you've never lost a pet. So you can say, oh, I understand what you're going through, but maybe you don't. you know, maybe you don't, maybe you can try to sympathize with them and feel sorry for them, but that's not true empathy. Empathy, that's sympathy. Empathy, on the other hand, is actually, I've been through that before. I can really understand. I am really aware of your thoughts and feelings because I lost a pet recently too. So it's the same thing. So all of you are correct in all these different fields. Is having the ability to understand the needs of others and being aware of their feelings and thoughts. On the screen, you'll see a little chart, and this is basically all what you all said. It's be genuine and curious about others. Ask other people about how they're feeling. Imagine yourself in other people's shoes. Be attentive as a listener. Share who you are. That's being vulnerable, and also validate others' feelings. Whether we agree or we don't agree with others, validation is a big part of empathy. Everybody has a right to their feelings. Everybody has a right, whether they're wrong or right. Everybody has a right to their feeling. That doesn't mean we have to agree with them. And these all embody what empathy is. Excuse me if you can hear those dogs barking in the background. I'm going to show a brief video that kind of has an overview, and we'll discuss it really quick. It's a little cute video that I came across. Give me a second because I was having some technical difficulties, and we'll get to it. 1 second. It's going to take a little while to load. You should be able to see this and hear it. If not, if you can't hear it, let me know. This is just a little. All right, can you hear it?
Red potatoes, Mrs. Green. Oh, Amanda tells us your family has cable internet.
Can y'all hear this?
I was raised on cable.
We're a Frontier Fiber.
Can hear it.
Okay. Might be a little blurry, but that's okay.
I don't see anything. I just see empathy still up there.
Yeah, I don't
The
see it.
chart.
You guys can't see the screen?
No, just the empathy, having the ability to understand that little
Okay.
chart that was up there.
Give me 1 second. This is what comes along with this.
Hit your share screen
Yep.
and then the YouTube.
One participant can share at a time. Advanced settings, and should be able to show that, but that's okay. Yikes. I got an idea. Give me 1 second. I'm just gonna, instead of going through there.
Who's the host? Are you
How
the
about
host?
y'all?
The host would have to share it.
Yeah. For some reason, it took me back off of this. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go just open up a new YouTube. 1 second, y'all. Can you see it now?
No,
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen.
now you're up there.
I know, give me 1 second. Then I'm going to go to this. I'm gonna share the screen. Okay, now we'll be able to see it. Hopefully you'll be able, you can see it now, correct?
Yes.
Like a little cartoon. Okay, I'm gonna play it. Let me know if you can't hear it. Just give me a thumbs down.
We're unable to hear that, Rich, when you get a chance.
Hey,
I couldn't find where the thumbs down was.
1 second, I
was
got
doing
you.
it with my hand.
For this one, you really don't have to hear it. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties, but you don't really have to hear it on this one. But let me go to share sound. Do apologize. Audio settings. Give me 1 second, y'all. Okay, so we're just gonna watch it. You don't have to share, but it's actually probably better without the sound. So I'm gonna continue to play it.
Rich, do you want to start it over with the volume to share or?
Oh,
All right, so give me 1 second now. I gotta stop sharing all this. I got a lot of stuff going on at once. All right, let me get this out of here. So when we saw that video, we saw a lot of different things. Very cute video we can unpack. So what ways did we see empathy in your view, from your viewpoint? Now, I think it's actually better without the sound. And I'll start with you. What is one way you saw empathy show itself in that video?
I saw the squirrel, is it squirrel? No, bunny and raccoon. Bunny and raccoon. I saw them working with each other when it came to crossing the bridge. The one of them kneeled down so the other one can hop over because they felt, for me, they looked like they felt each other's pain in terms of trying to cross, and both of them were in each other's way, so they made it work.
Absolutely. Anyone else want to chime in? What ways they saw or did not see empathy being displayed in that video?
I didn't see.
I didn't see
empathy being I'm sorry. Go ahead, Debbie.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I didn't see empathy being displayed when the rope got cut. Towards the beginning, that was an empathy that was more geared towards not caring, and that
Yeah.
has nothing to do with empathy.
Yeah.
Debbie, you were going to say something?
No, ditto. I was going to say what Stephanie said, exactly what she said.
Yeah, so this is just
Nobody really had in the beginning.
Yeah, this is just overall the awareness of other people's feelings. The two bigger animals, I can't remember what they are,
Hippo.
the hippo, and yeah, they didn't really display any empathy. They were so worried about themselves that to getting to their own destination that they forgot about everybody else. And as we move into, and the other two little animals, the rabbit and the raccoon or whatever it was, they understood that to get to their common goal, they had to put each other in other shoes and work together and have that level of understanding of how each other felt to get tossed back to the beginning. And, so they had that feeling of empathy. Their feelings were validated. And also main thing is they were able to imagine each other in other shoes. As we transition into what servant leadership is, right? When we think of what do we know about the word servant leadership? Or does anybody know what differentiates servant leadership from regular leadership?
I
When I
think
hear the
servant.
word, yep, go
I'm
ahead, Debbie.
sorry.
No,
I
go
think
ahead.
servant leadership would be working together. It's not one person being a leader. It's everybody serving one another to work together.
Okay, so collaboration. Anything else?
I
Empowerment.
was going to lead with
Power.
that too, being able to serve others.
Serving others. Power, I heard. Collaboration, power,
Empowerment.
serving others. Okay, so there was a gentleman back in the 1970s, and he first proposed the term servant leadership, and his name was Robert Greenleaf. He wrote a framework that basically shows that, that advocates leaders' primary motivation is being in service to others. Now, a lot of times when we hear the word servant leadership or putting other first, and this is a quote from Robert Greenleaf, a great leader is seen as a servant first. Many times, can anybody, when we talk about somebody who serves others first, we think about leaders, who do we think about? What that comes to our mind? I'll give you one. We'll think about like a Mother Teresa, right? Somebody that put somebody first. But can you shout out any names of anybody you think is a servant leader or displayed servant leader characteristics? Based.
Gandhi.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, that's the best. That's the best role model would be Christ, would be Jesus Christ. He showed us on his time on this earth that what a servant leader was, came to be served and not served. I mean, came to serve and not to be served, and kind of follow that blueprint. But yeah, you're right. So we have Anna, you were gonna say someone?
Gandhi.
Mahatma Gandhi, yep. So these are all individuals that have servant leadership. A lot of times when we think about servant leadership, we always go to people who always give, and we don't think about like Fortune 500 companies. We don't think about people that are making buku bucks and all types of money or have a lot of influence. We think about the Malcolm, the Martin Luther Kings and those people cut from that cloth, or you have to run a soup kitchen.
Harriet Tubman.
Yeah, Harriet Tubman. Or
Harriet Tubman, both white and black soldiers in
Yep.
the armed expedition
for
during
sure,
the Civil War.
for sure. Most certainly most certainly displayed servant leadership. But this is where our mind typically goes to, people that have always served in that capacity. But there are Fortune 500. You don't have to be, you don't have to give up your life and sacrifice your money and sacrifice your toys, cars, and if that's what you're into, to be a servant leader. So servant leadership basically embodies, it just means that in us as an organization, we're all individual servant leaders. As parents, everyone on this phone call everyone on this Zoom is a parent. You're a servant leader because you have to serve your
No,
children.
somewhere you're frozen.
I'm frozen. Am I still frozen?
Nope, you're good. He was on my end. Maybe it was me, but go ahead. Sorry.
So yes, servant leaders, as parents, we're all servant leaders. So we all have to serve our children. We have to put them first. We have to make sure that we're giving them the right tools to transform them and empower them. That's a servant leader. We put our children first most often. And even in our workspaces, whether we're the boss or the leader, the director or the CEO, a great servant leader is somebody that's going to want to see people grow, transformational. So Stephanie, for example, if I'm the CEO of the company that you work for, I want to see you become the best version of yourself. I don't want to limit you. So I want to offer you trainings. I want to offer you different opportunities for you to grow in any capacity. So if you show interest in digital art or digital design, a great servant leader would want to facilitate that. Go ahead.
So some servant leadership awareness that we went through was like more towards like empathy, healing, awareness, foresight, building communities. That was more towards servant leadership in the victim service unit.
Exactly.
Targeted a lot of things in which this topic is about.
Exactly.
Foresight.
Yeah, everything that you do in your professional capacity has servant leadership written all over it. But sometimes we don't see it. Anna, in her capacity, even though she is employed for a financial company, her goal is to transform young adults and get them into the workforce. Debbie, for you we could say mom, I don't know, it doesn't matter. And mom, for you is you work in the healthcare system, before you retire. That's servant leadership. You put others' needs first. So we're all servants at the end of the day. And I'll tell you how it all ties in a second. So we're going to come up with a hypothetical. We know what servant leadership is. Obviously, we know what empathy is, very clear. So imagine this scenario, right? Our foundation was asked or tasked with organizing a 3-city toy drive. Let's think of, Brockton, Massachusetts, Needham, Massachusetts, and Boston, Massachusetts. I don't even know if Needham's a place, right? One of our team members not named here. Let's say Johnny is signed up to do a lot. He was going to facilitate. He was going to do all this stuff. He was going to make a bunch of phone calls, do outreach, get sponsorships. He's going through some issues at home and not pulling up his end of the bargain, which is slowing up our whole thing. A lot of times, many of us would maybe, if we lacked empathy, we wouldn't and we would probably get, talk amongst ourselves and say, Johnny's not doing his part. And what are some ways that we're going to get together? I'm going to give you all 15 minutes. Get together, and I want you all to think about some ways where you can create a detailed action plan and how we can support Johnny in his need. And not only to ensure that we can focus on the outcome, the task at hand, but to also, which is the completion of the event and serving others in the community, but also to support Johnny in his need. That's empathy. Instead of talking behind his back, instead of getting these resentful feelings because he's slowing up our ultimate objective, how can we support him? Also, how can we provide resources to support him? The resources don't have to be huge resources. For example, I'll give you one. A resource can be just calling and checking on them. That's a resource, calling and checking on them. For those who pray, you can pray for him. Just making sure he's all right, giving him a ride if he's struggling with one of his children and giving him a ride somewhere. So I'm going to give you all, there's going to be 15 minutes. I'm going to black out my screen. You all can get together and just write down some things. Anna will share them out in the end. And give me 1 second while I pull up this. Oh, you're not going to be
One
able to see.
question, I'm sorry, what was Johnny's situation again?
Johnny's
Sorry about
situation.
that.
Hold on 1 second. Johnny's situation can be whatever it is. So let's say Johnny's situation is one of his children is struggling or he's going through something with his spouse, whatever that is, going through a spousal, whatever it is. You can come up with that. How about this? You all come up with the situation and then see what's best way to support Johnny. Also show empathy, show servant leadership, and also support the whole team. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop sharing this. And I think we have a chat. I'll write them. Okay, Anna's going to write them in here. We do have a whiteboard if you prefer, but you can use the chat as well. I'll share my screen. So we'll do 15 minutes. And then after that, we'll close the show. So I'm going to black out my screen. You all talk about it. I'm going to step away for a second and then we'll get back in 15 minutes. All right. Sound good? Great.
All righty. First, I guess we can come up with a scenario. Anyone would like to throw a scenario out there in terms of what's going on
So
with
I
Johnny?
can throw out a scenario. I don't know if it'd be a good scenario or not, but how about
Right.
Johnny was at a family gathering and Johnny had a little bit to drink, a little bit too much to drink at that family gathering, but Johnny had to make it home. And instead of Johnny not calling a taxi or something, Johnny drove home drunk, got pulled over and arrested. How are we showing him any support in regards to the decision he made? I don't know if that's a good one. Debbie, you might have a better one. Anna, you might have a better one. But
So he's saying he got pulled over for drunk driving. So he could be afraid for his job,
Mhm.
and how we could help him is we could talk with him and but I think like taking some of his tasks for whatever we're doing with him would help him because he's going to have other things on his mind now.
Johnny got 2 kids at home and a wife. So
Poor John.
that's why Johnny had to make it home. So how can we show sympathy and anything towards Johnny, but then he could have endangered
Yes,
someone's
poor
life.
Johnny.
Yeah, like that.
So I don't know if that scenario works. If you guys want to come up with a scenario.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. So what I have right now is Johnny went to a family event over the weekend. He was partying hard. He needed to make it home. Instead of calling the Uber or Lyft, Johnny decided to drive home drunk. And of course, he got arrested. He was too drunk was driving under the influence, of course, and did not make it home that night.
Didn't kill
Now
nobody,
his
didn't
job
do anything.
is in jeopardy in that sense because, you know, he got arrested, he did not make it home, and yep, didn't harm anyone at that time, which is great. And arrested, I guess, was almost a better thing of, you know, kind of the flip side of what could have
Right.
happened, lost his life, or killed someone, you know, hurt, injured someone else. And Debbie, what you mentioned in terms of, you know, thinking about how we can help him when it comes to work, for example,
Yeah,
us
be
being
different.
his colleagues, I guess.
Right.
So you mentioned helping him with his tasks.
Right. And
Um,
what
I want
about
to throw in,
driving?
maybe we can, you know, if we can call him, reach out to him and ask
Yeah.
him, first, are you okay? I guess, you know, if there's anything that we can do on our behalf to help him get to the next steps with when it comes to work or anything like that.
Maybe even rides to work. 'Cause
Anything
he-
else
Of course,
people can
of course
think
he's
of
going,
to help,
he's going,
how we
he's
can show
going,
empathy.
of course, he's going to lose his license. So yeah, maybe a ride to work.
Offer ride to work, okay?
So Justin help with family matters because he has kids at home that
Yes.
may or may not be in school. So suggest assistance in that situation. But have to go through depression
Alright.
because it does lead people to depression. So showing consideration
Okay, so
in that
help with
way.
family.
I wouldn't say start a GoFundMe because that's not a GoFundMe matter, even though there's a lot of GoFundMes here.
Yes,
But your error is your error. But true family and friends will step up and help out.
I agree. I would also include, I don't know if, I guess I wouldn't want to assume that he has an alcoholic problem. But maybe offer up some help when it comes to AAA information. Is it AAA, AA? I don't even know. Alcohol Anonymous, the AA class. He may need help
Yeah.
with that. AA to help him
Yeah.
with that, with alcohol,
Yes.
alcoholism.
Help with the legal problems he's going to be facing. I don't know how we could help. Maybe just go to court with him, support his wife and children, like Stephanie said.
Mm-hmm. So the support in courtroom.
Ask him
Yes.
how he's doing.
Yeah.
That question goes far when it comes to showing sympathy towards somebody. Just asking how they're doing. Because not a lot of people ask you how you're doing when you're going through something that's really tough.
Right.
So just questions like that. How are you doing? What do you need? They may say nothing, but in the back of their head, they know somebody cares. So
that's definitely empathy. That's definitely understanding and caring about somebody. Poor Johnny. I feel sorry. Johnny isn't even real, and I feel sorry for him.
Same here. So it sounds like we have a good scenario. We also have some examples of how we can help empathize with Johnny. And I'm just going to just read down the list. So if you think of anything else, let me know. I'll jot them down. But so far, what we have is we can help him with tasks, call him and ask him what he needs from us, offer rides to work back and forth, help with family matters and provide assistance as needed, suggest AAA classes, help with legal problems, maybe financially if we can, support him in courtroom, attend court cases to show some support there, and just ask in terms of asking him how he's doing and and of course, what he needs additionally from us.
I'll add something else because it's not all about
Anything
Johnny.
else? We could do
It's
that.
about the girlfriend, the partner, the fiance, or the wife.
Yes, yes.
Gotta have to ask her, how is she doing? And if she needs, someone to talk to,
Fiance, how she's doing, partner, fiance.
wife, girlfriend, whatever the person is, the partner, how is that person doing? And does that person need any help with any day-to-day tasks that she depended on Johnny with? She might depend on Johnny for a lot. She might not. I don't know. Some people are stay-at-home wives, girlfriends, and that was the dependable person.
Yes.
So, you gotta show the same sympathy, empathy towards Johnny that you show towards that person as well. The partner that has to deal with the issue.
I'm sure there's a lot of fear there too for the uncertain. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if he's going to go to jail. You don't know what's going to happen in court. So the uncertainty, yeah, maybe I know I don't want to get like religious, but maybe pray with them, get together with them and talk to them about, not worrying about what's ahead. Just let's get through day by day.
Pray with them. Yes.
The overall mission is to make sure Johnny is mentally okay,
Yeah.
because he has a kid and wife or whoever at home, and to make sure his partner is okay.
Yes.
And his kids are okay as well. Because if Johnny's not okay, his partner's not okay, and the kids sense
Yes.
everybody's not okay.
Awesome. All right. So I do have all that down, added, I should say, the fiance piece, making sure she's okay. What can we do to help with her and Johnny's situation? Pray with him to get through, day by day, and make sure he's mentally okay. And I noticed Richie put in the chat, how can Johnny be supported to also accomplish the overall mission, which is the toy drive? And I feel as if, what we're offering him and what we're doing for him, especially asking him, what tasks he needs us to take off his plate.
Right.
It can help us get to the end goal of the mission of helping with the tour drive.
We all
Anything
take on a
else we're
little
missing?
extra. Yeah, we all take on a little extra, and it'll be less that he has to do.
Yes. All right, I like that. On. All right, I'm gonna put this in the chat. It's a lot there, but it's pretty much everything that we chatted about. Yeah, I hope this is what Rich is looking for. I think we did good.
Yeah.
But if there's anything else you feel I left out after reading that, please let me know.
You just put it in the chat.
Yes, it's in there. It's in there.
I wonder if maybe some suggestion for mental health for Johnny as well.
Just mental health providers.
Yeah, like mental health provider, because a lot of times someone, I'm just going to say it. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but when Jimmy was drinking quite a bit, the mental health helped with the alcoholism as well. Not only the AA, but the mental health dealt with deeper problems of why the person was drinking in the first place.
Yeah.
So that would be a suggestion as well, that you could give to Johnny.
Okay.
And his wife, she may need help. Yeah. Oh boy.
Oh,
Johnny, what did you do?
And see, honest, so when it comes with that, due to my experience, it comes with conditions. So make sure
Yeah.
that Johnny is following all the conditions he's supposed to follow.
Yes.
So Johnny is on track with his obligations in court and also his needs at home,
Yes.
and it don't end up being too much for him, because at that point you can relapse
Yes. Yes.
and do the same thing again. As you
Yeah,
guys see, I have a
all
court
that,
mentality.
as-
So sorry.
All good. Make sure Johnny is on track with his obligations and family is
Court obligations.
or obligations.
Court.
Court. Oh, sorry. 12. Courts.
Because if he's not on track with his court obligations, then it's basically going backwards instead of going forward.
So true.
Like, how is Johnny
We
paying
don't
for
want
his
that.
court fees and everything else?
Yeah.
To dig himself a deeper hole than
Yes.
Yeah, right?
Correct.
Right.
Now, do we have to do the part with the servant leadership, or is that all in one?
I gotta ask Rich. I believe this is all in one. This is what he's looking for us, but
So if
You
it's
said
not with the
definitely.
servant leadership, it helps with the growth. It helps with basically from the empathy that you show him. It helps with the growth. It helps with the healing.
mhm,
It helps with the foresight.
I agree. Awesome.
And then the persuasion that you have towards that person because of what they're going through and the relationship you have with that person, you can persuade them to make sure that they stay on the same track.
Yes. Yes. And the
So that
leadership should have
will-
empathy. Definitely
Correct.
have empathy. If the leadership has empathy, it's going to make Johnny's progress much easier and better. You know, if you have a leadership person that's empathetic and says, you know, Johnny, I'm gonna help you in any way I can. We're gonna help you as a group. Yeah, Johnny won't feel so, gee, I screwed up really bad.
I agree. It's all great additions as it relates to servant leadership.
And then the commitment of growth.
Commitment to growth. All right, team. Great job. Rich.
When do we get paid?
Is this still being
Okay.
recorded? You can't do that.
So I'm sure you all, I see the chat. So thank you all for that. 1 second. I just wanted to test something out really quick. And give me a second. Anna, since you are kind of collaborating, I wanted to show you something. Anna, are you able to, can you see that? Can you see the screen right now? It says loading whiteboard.
Yep.
Are you able to jot down some of the things in those bullets that you see there?
Jot it down on here.
Yeah, see the sticky notes you would see the stickies?
Let me-
Are you able to use that? No?
that's-
If not, don't worry
I
about it.
don't see no stickies. Hold on. Shape. I see draw.
No,
That's
you don't
my
see
drawing.
you don't see it says bullseye.
I think it goes in.
Do you see what I'm
Oh,
seeing?
wait, let me see this down here. Um.
You don't see what I'm
Oh
seeing?
wait. Okay, I see it now. I had to move the arrow. I had to like
Okay.
pretty
So
much
if you,
make my.
if,
make
if you
it
all
stick.
can, if you all wanted to use this, we could, or we could just talk about it. I'll let you all decide that. But let's just talk about it because this seems like it might be a tall task to do sometimes. or I could type it in. These are pretty big. So, but let's keep this up. So let's hit the bullseye. Okay, I'm gonna close the whiteboard. All right. So what did we come up with? First of all, we kind of deviated. So what did we create? What was the scenario? No, I'm not privy to understanding what the scenario was, or what was the scenario. I think his name was Johnny. That was distracting him from his overall mission and messing up the team. What was the? Go ahead, shoot. Straight shoot.
I can jump in. So Johnny, he had too much to drink at a family event and he needed to make it home. Instead of calling a Lyft or Uber, he decided to drive, which he did not harm anyone, did not get in any accidents. But on the flip side, he did get stopped by the police, got arrested for OUI. And now he has to deal with, work issues or work challenges, I should say, and how to get to work, to and from work, and the mental stress and family stress and everything that comes along with it. So
Okay.
that's the scenario.
Okay. How was this? So what I'm hearing is Johnny got in trouble. He did some things he wasn't supposed to be doing, right?
Yeah.
One of the things. So what are some of the ways that we can support him? What are some ways that we can show empathy for him? And what did you all come up with as far as from the empathetic approach?
I'll let my team members jump in.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Just to be sympathetic and have empathy for him, and tell him that we'll help him with his work tasks for the drive, the toy drive. We'll help him because he's got his mind on other things right now.
Okay,
That's
so
one thing we could do.
So delegation. The team is gonna band together as a group and delegate his big task and break it down into little. So there's 4 of us on here. So maybe I would take a piece of a chunk of his duty. Stephanie would take a chunk, Anna and Mom, you would take a chunk. Okay. So delegating his role into smaller roles. Okay.
Yeah.
What else?
His day-to-day tasks in
Okay.
regards to now he has legal actions against him.
Got it.
He also, his partner has kids at home. So we would show empathy towards the partner at home, the kids, and him. So it's not all about him. It's also about family.
Got it. So that is a picture of. That's called transcendence. That's seeing a bigger picture. So you're not only just seeing what Johnny is, you're seeing Johnny has a lot of his family as well. So you're looking at the wider scope of it. Like, not only does Johnny need our support and our empathy, but his family, his kids are going to need us as well. So that's good. I didn't think about that.
Because
what
if
else?
you only show Johnny empathy, you need to realize that what you're showing Johnny, you're not showing her and the kids, and it affects them, and what affects them will affect Johnny. So
For
it's
sure.
a
Yes.
cycle. So you have to evolve everybody into the situation because it's a partnership.
Well said. Perfect. What else do we got? So we got supporting Johnny and his family. The bigger picture, delegating his task. What else did we come up with? And I know you put some in the chat, but I wanted
So
to
we
challenge
have
you to.
provide him with assistance mentally in terms of, if there's any mental health professionals that we can refer him to, AAA courses or sessions that we can refer him to. And lastly is pray with him. We can help him get through his day.
Perfect. I wanted to ask you a question. Now, did Johnny come to you with this, or did he come to you open and transparent and say, hey, I got a DUI or a drunk driving charge, or did somebody from our team go to him?
No,
He
so
let
how
the
it
team know
happened was-
personally.
Say
how
that
it
again?
happened was we seen it on the newspaper the
Okay.
next day.
That's
Okay.
a good.
His
Yeah, that's
wife
good.
was looking
Yeah.
for him. and a partner was looking for him. Nobody found him. The next day, got a call, and that's where he was.
Awesome. So perfect. So
Strategically.
no, that's good. That's a good scenario. So what I'm hearing is that you all are going to approach him, be proactive, approach him, and there's certain things they call them empathy statements. And in this case, it's some things like, "I'm sorry you had to experience this." That's an empathy statement. "I understand you must be frustrated right now." That would be a good one for this. This is Johnny made a mistake. There's no doubt about it. But like we said earlier, when we think about some of those great servant leaders, especially, the role model of Christ, right? There's called grace, providing him the grace. He
Yeah.
messed up, providing him the grace and the mercy that he deserves to get past this mistake, because we all make mistakes. So there's certain things, I understand how you can be feeling right now. However, let's delegate this moving forward. Was there any challenges that you all had while creating this scenario? Like, what were some key takeaways, or even challenges that you all might have experienced while thinking about this?
I wouldn't say it was a challenge. It was more so it if it does happen to a family member or a friend, you're only really going to that person that it happened to. You're not really going to the person that it affects as well.
Yeah.
So it's more of an eye-opening situation that you don't just go to that person. You also go to that person's partner, because at the end of the day, they're a team. And you're helping one out and not the other. So the other is going to take it out on the person that it happens to. However, that frustration is just going to blow back on the person that's helping Johnny.
Got it. No, that's perfect. So I think you all have covered a lot of different areas. You've covered ways to, at the end of the day, is our organization was tasked to create a mission. We have a mission, right? Where we have a goal as a team. And our goal was to execute this toy drive over 3 cities. So there's 3 cities, hundreds of people, families counting on our organization. A lead member of our organization gets into some trouble, some self-inflicted struggles. And in order to not only execute our goal, we also have enough empathy to know that it's not just about the bigger picture, it's about also helping Johnny along the way. So things like prayer, just seeing how he's doing, checking in with him, checking on his family, giving him rides to and from, delegating his tasks, are all ways that not only did we show empathy, but we also showed certain servant leadership. The reality is this: as a servant leader, if we have to stop and give him a ride to and from and pick up the slack, that's causing an inconvenience for us. There's no doubt about it. We all have our own personal lives. However, that's what a servant does. That's servant leadership in a nutshell. There's going to be times where it's uncomfortable. There's going to be times where it doesn't feel right. There's going to be times where, we have to stay connected to our brothers and sisters to be able to make sure that they grow from this experience. And although not right and uncomfortable for us, this is what comes along with it. Remember, as we went back to our previous slide on servant leadership, and I did have a whole video about it. Servant leadership is a leader's primary motivation is servicing others, not money, not clout, not influence, not influence, not identity. It's your primary goal as a servant leader is to serve others, and you're definitely serving Johnny. And I'm going to close with this. A great leader is seen as a servant first. Everything else comes in, the money, the organizational culture. If your leader sets a tone as a servant, being vulnerable, being open to let people Johnny knows he can make mistakes. Listen, he shouldn't be drinking and driving, but he knows that he won't just be casted out by his peers and others by his mistake. Then it's a safe environment for him. offering opportunities for him to grow, offering opportunities to learn, and providing that grace. So a great leader is seen as a servant first. As we move forward as an organization, I want us to not get away from our empathetic approach. It's easy. It would be easier for us to sit back and just, gossip about Johnny and talk about him behind his back, and it happens. But who's going to step up to the plate to help Johnny as a team so we can continue to overall go with our mission? Go ahead, Steph.
The empathy also comes with emphasizing
Yeah.
their problem,
Yes,
communicating clearly, and letting them know that you care and you value everything that they're going through. However, they must value your time as well.
of course. Absolutely. Everything you said there fits in this wheel. Like, it is a two-way street. Empathy is a two-way street, because then that empathy, that grace that we showed Johnny, if it wasn't a two-way street, then it kind of turns into something else. And we validated Johnny's feelings, but Johnny also has to validate what our feelings. Just being open to listening and making those statements, certain statements like, I can only understand how you feel right now, or I understand how you feel right now, must be confusing or must be tough for you. However, we're here to support you. I've been here before. I may have not gotten a drunk driving charge, but I've struggled before, and I know what it feels like to not feel like nobody's in your corner. That's an empathetic statement. Just the awareness of the feelings of other. Johnny might feel guilty. Johnny might feel helpless. Johnny might feel lost and forgotten. But as we're a team, first of all, we have to support our team members, and we also have bigger pictures down the line as far as executing. So with that being said, would anybody like to share anything before we close? I know I do appreciate your time, and I am sensitive of our time. Would anybody like to share anything?
I think you did a great job, Rich. Thank you for including us.
I didn't do anything. You all did the heavy lifting, but I do value you all, your service to the organization, your service to your families. And remember, you're already all servant leaders, for the simple fact that we all have children, and we all having children, we all know it's about them first. So whenever you think about servant leadership, the kids come first, and those sacrifices that need to be made. So if we can apply that to our real lives, we'll all be in a better place. So yeah, thank you for your time. I thank you for this. Thank you for this experience. And we'll get together again, and we'll kind of build off this as we move along in our monthly sessions. So I appreciate you all, and thank you, and have a good night.
Thank you, and I like
You
your chart.
too.
Thank you.
This actually, it made me really think more about empathy, in regards to what I do on a day-to-day basis, and the scenario that we chose. There was a lot of different inputs in regards to that. So, you did a great job.
Thank you.
And I did gain some knowledge in regards to this slideshow that you presented.
Thank you. Yep, you all did once again, I appreciate it. You all did the heavy lift, and empathy is just putting ourselves in other shoes sometimes. And even when people get on our nerves and we can't stand them, there's always something deeper in the roots of their soil that's producing their fruit, which is when they say that we'll know them by their fruits. Sometimes their fruits are rotten, and we think that they're rotten people. It's just there's something going on behind the surface that we don't know about. So, all right, y'all. I appreciate everything. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
everybody.
All right, y'all. Bye now.
Hey,
Bye,
thank
Steph.
you.
Bye, Anna.
Bye.
Bye-bye,
Have a
Rick.
good
Bye,
night.
y'all. Have a good night.
Bye-bye, everybody.